Hello. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about the NAIA. This presentation will give you insight on opportunities for your student athletes to play sports in the NAIA, as well as how our eligibility process works. The NAIA is considered to be the experts in the business of small college athletics. We develop champions of character through our core values: integrity, respect, responsibility, sportsmanship, and servant leadership. The NAIA has more than 77,000 student athletes at colleges and universities across our 250 member schools. Student athletes have the chance to compete in 28 national championships. Not only do NAIA student athletes get to keep playing their sport at the collegiate level, but many do it while receiving a portion of the more than $800 million in athletic scholarships offered at NAIA colleges and universities. The NAIA has institutions across the country, so there is practically no boundary to where your students can go and participate in college athletics. There are several ways to search for NAIA institutions using the NAIA Member Schools Search tool found on naia.org. You can search NAIA schools by sport, location, size, and/or field of study. Some of the many reasons to choose an NAIA school include having an opportunity for a more intimate learning setting, as our schools are tight-knit and allow for closer interaction and stronger relationship with those on campus. We also focus heavily on character development and want to make sure that we are not only developing the athlete, but the student as well. Statistically speaking, not everyone is going to be able to compete at a Division I institution. The NAIA is a great way to earn a scholarship to keep playing while receiving an excellent college education at a four-year university. The NAIA offers the opportunity to compete in a wide variety of championship sports and travel across the country to compete on a national stage. In addition to championship sports, the NAIA also recognizes emerging and invitational sports. These are programs that many of our campuses have started sponsoring, but have not yet had the numbers or competitive structure to become a championship sport. Current invitational and emerging sports are listed here on the screen. Another advantage of playing for an NAIA school is how the recruiting rules work in high school. Forget what you know about recruiting because the NAIA is different. NAIA recruiting rules do not restrict when or how often the student and college coaches can communicate. The NAIA's approach allows the student and the coach to develop a rapport so both of them feel confident that they're making the right choice and can fully explore what NAIA schools have to offer the student, both athletically and academically. It is also important to note that the national letters of intent are not legal binding, which means a student has the ability to change schools after signing for a scholarship. There is no recruiting calendar in the NAIA, so students should take advantage. Recruiting can take place year-round for NAIA coaches, which means anytime a coach is not in season for his or her sport, it is a great time for the coach to be out evaluating prospective talent. If students need assistance with the recruiting process, we recommend that they visit the NCSA, as they are our official recruiting partner. They offer tools to help understand the eligibility process. Before your student can step onto the playing field, you have to make sure that they are eligible. Anyone who wants to play at an NAIA school for the first time will need to register with the NAIA Eligibility Center at playnaia.org. Once they register, they will need to provide basic information so that we can send them a confirmation email, and then they're on their way. Students can get started with their online profile by giving the NAIA some general information about themselves, such as who they are, where they are from, and what sports they plan to play in the NAIA. Just simple, basic background information. This is also where students can sign up to receive text reminders from the Eligibility Center so that they do not forget to send their test scores or transcripts later on, and so that they can receive an alert as soon as their eligibility determination is available. There is a registration fee for the NAIA Eligibility Center. The cost for students that are currently in high school or have just graduated is $100. The cost for students that graduate high school and then take a break before enrolling in college will be $135. There is an opportunity to receive a fee waiver for the registration fee. The waiver is based on whether or not the student received the ACT or SAT waiver while in high school, or if they received the free or reduced lunch while in high school. This fee waiver will be approved or denied by their high school through the portal, which will be explained later. The first step for students to receive an eligibility decision is to complete the registration at playnaia.org. Once the account is created, email is confirmed, and payment is made, the student will move to the Complete Your Profile stage. In this stage, the student will input all of their academic and athletic history. The information in this section will determine which documents will be required in order for the student to receive an eligibility decision. Once the profile is submitted, the student will have a current task list on the profile to help guide them. For most of your students, the only tasks that will show are send high school transcript and send test scores. Once all necessary documents are received, the student will go through the review process and receive a decision of eligible or not eligible. When it comes to sending high school transcripts, there is only one way that we accept them. High school transcripts must be uploaded by the high school through the NAIA High School portal. We do not accept high school transcripts that are sent through parchment or sent through the mail. We also do not require dual credit transcripts for students that are just graduating high school or entering freshmen. We will only need their high school transcript and potentially their test scores. Please note, your student's admission to college is separate from the NAIA Eligibility Center determination. The NAIA Eligibility Center uses transcripts and test scores only to make eligibility decisions. They do not make these documents or the information in them available to anyone outside of the Eligibility Center. Please check with the schools your students are interested in attending to find out what information they need for admission. I do want to reiterate that all high school transcripts for domestic U.S. high school students must be submitted via the NAIA High School portal. We are unfortunately not able to accept them via parchment. To gain access to the portal, you will register your account at playnaia.org. You will scroll down the page to the green box that says For High Schools. You will then select Learn More to create your account. There are only two tasks that you will ever need to complete within the NAIA High School portal on behalf of your students. If you see a green button under the Actions column that says either Approve Fee Waiver or Send Transcript, that means that you have a task to complete. If there is no green button under the Actions column, that means one of three things. They have everything that they need at this time, they do not need anything to be completed by their high school in order to receive a decision, or there are tasks that the student still needs to complete before an action task will be assigned to you. If you click on the green button that says Approve Fee Waiver, this is the form that you will see. You can determine if the student received either the ACT or SAT fee waiver or federal free or reduced lunch while they were in high school. You will either approve it by selecting yes or deny it by selecting no. If you click on the green button that says Send Transcript, this form will appear. Within this form, you will enter the type of transcript you are uploading, either junior year complete, senior mid-year, or senior year final. You will also input the student's program type, their GPA converted to a 4.0 scale if necessary, and their class rank, if applicable. At the bottom of the form, you will be able to upload a PDF or Word document of the student's transcript. You can verify that it was uploaded correctly by going back to the student list page and checking to see if the green button is no longer below the Actions column. If a test score is needed in order to determine a student's eligibility, it will need to be sent directly to us from the testing service, either the ACT or the College Board, using our code 9876. We do not look at test scores that appear on a student's transcript. Information on how test scores need to be sent will be found on the profile as well. On this slide, you will find the requirements for a student to receive an early decision at the conclusion of their junior year of high school. The student will need to have at least a 3.3 GPA on a 4.0 scale or a 3.0 GPA with a qualifying test score. On this slide, you will find the requirements for a student to receive an early decision at the conclusion of their 7th semester of high school. The student will need to have at least a 2.8 GPA on a 4.0 scale or a 2.5 GPA with a qualifying test score. On this slide, you will find the requirements for a student to receive a decision after high school graduation. The student will need to have at least a 2.3 GPA on a 4.0 scale or two of the following: a GPA of 2.0 or higher, a qualifying test score, and/or rank in the top 50% of their graduating class. If your institution does not rank, a student can potentially utilize the class rank exception. In this exception, a student can complete at least 9 institutional credit hours prior to identification at any institution of higher education. These 9 credits must be completed with a grade of C or better and must be accepted as institutional credit on the certifying NAIA institution's transcript. If a student does not meet the early decision or entering freshman requirements for the first semester, the student can also become eligible after their first term of attendance by meeting just one of the freshman requirements, in addition to earning 12 credit hours with a C or better at their certifying NAIA institution. In order to help your NAIA-bound student athletes, please do the following. If you have not already, please register your high school account at playnaia.org. Without an account, students that request either a fee waiver or their transcript will not be able to move forward in the process. Encourage your NAIA-bound student athletes to register early in order to minimize delays when it gets closer to their competition season. Promote awareness of the great opportunities the NAIA has to offer to their students and student athletes. Display the NAIA's test code during ACT and SAT registration so students don't have to pay an additional fee later on if a test score is required for their eligibility. This slide provides information and tips for your NAIA-bound student athletes. This slide explains a few of the differences between the NCAA and the NAIA when it comes to eligibility and recruitment. The main difference is that we do not look at core courses in the NAIA, unlike the NCAA. The only thing we look at for freshman eligibility would be the high school GPA and potentially the class rank and test score. Another difference would be that an eligibility decision is not needed to receive scholarships or practice at an NAIA institution. The decision is only needed to actually compete on campus once the season begins, which includes scrimmages and exhibitions. Students also do not need to be on a coach's recruit list in order to get an eligible decision if they're coming straight from high school to college. Students are able to receive their decision prior to determining which school they're going to attend, which is a huge advantage when it comes to the recruitment process. This slide contains helpful links for you as a high school, as well as for your students. If you have any questions about the NAIA or NAIA eligibility, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can use this Contact Us form to submit your inquiry.